So today on The Boot Guy, it's questions and answers, part 5. So about 2 weeks ago, I got this great question from this guy, Mark. And in his question, he stated that he felt that I wasn't biased enough. I wasn't too engaging on whether or not a boot is going to last or how it's going to fall apart. You know what? He's right. I really am not like that. I don't really do those reviews where I show you, hey, look at this boot. I've worn it for a month and look at the lace is broken. I'm never buying these boots again. I don't do reviews like that. That's really short-sighted on anybody's part into what it is that you need to know as a consumer, because when a place is closed and there's no salespeople around, you then have to rely on things that are written about a certain boot. So that's where the Boot Guy comes into play. The Boot Guy is there for you. That's why I leave my email out there. That's why I always say at the end of all the videos, if you should have any questions, feel free to email me. If you're about to buy this boot, email me. Hundreds of you have emailed me asking my advice on the next boot purchase. And I love you for that. And that's awesome. But Mark, on the other hand here, he doesn't feel that I'm giving you guys a fair representation of the boot because I'm not showing you the boot falling apart. Well, you know what, Mark? I can't do that. I really cannot. First off, the way a boot's going to fall apart for me is not going to fall apart for you or anybody else. We're different. Our gaits are different. The way we displace our weight within each step is different, and that's going to cause abrasion to happen in different places. So when Joe number A tells Joe number B that the boot is horrible, what really needs to be said is the boot was horrible for me because blah, 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 blah. Now, he also stated in this email that it seems that I never have anything bad to say about boots. And you know what? I don't. I mean, you really have to notice, the boots that I review, they're not low-end price point boots. Now, I did do the crappy boot my wife bought me from Walmart, okay? And yeah, this was a lot of fun. This review was a hell of a good time. But most of the time, I'm doing boots that are pretty high-end, that are really good work boots that have been engineered for the jobs that you guys are doing. So it's hard for me to point out anything that's really bad unless the boot is really a piece of crap. And when the boot's a real big piece of crap, it's usually not coming across my table. It's not coming to my desk. It's not going on my review list. I guess if anybody wanted to see me or to have me review something that they felt was a piece of crap and they wanted to know my opinion on why it was a piece of crap, that could be a different type of review. But most of the time, I'm going to get the best boots that the manufacturers make, and I'm going to point out the best parts about them and where they are going to be most valuable in your line of work or the line of work that they are engineered for. So Mark, I hope that helps out. I hope that helps you understand on why I don't do those typical reviews and why I am more of, like you stated in your email, a salesman. More or less, that's what I am. I am the salesman when the store is closed. I am the salesman when you get sick of reading Amazon reviews or actual reviews from the manufacturer's website of people who you don't know whether or not they actually use the boot. Is it just guys sitting in the office saying something nice about it? Here I am. You can email me. You can talk to me. I'm not going to say you can call me on the phone. Not just yet. That might happen in a few weeks or so. All right. Hey, buddy, Mark, thank you for the email, and thank you for prompting me to get back out there and do questions and answers. So Jonah, him and I have discussed this, and he said it was okay that I use his name and talk about him and all that good stuff. So Jonah is actually from Chicago, and he said, Isaac, what is going on? When do I know it's a good time to replace my boots? I invited Jonah to come by and see me. Jonah says he's working way too much. So I thought I'd show everybody a really good example of a pair of boots that should have been replaced 3 to 4 months earlier than they were. In this case, it's actually 2 months earlier. He wore these boots 2 months too long. So my buddy Brian, who is a working guy, as the boots do show. Now, these boots are not 20 years old. These boots, this pair of Thorogoods, is only 5 months old. Now, Brian puts in the hours. Most of the time he works 412s or 210s. Well, he said it was 412s and 210s. At least that's what's going on now. Chicago, we have this huge building boom that's going on downtown, and actually all around there's all kinds of big projects going on, and guys are getting a lot of hours in. And a lot of their boots are looking like this. Now, Brian, buddy, he knows that he should have seen me 2 months earlier since these are only 5 months old, and this boot on his feet usually starts going at the 3-month mark. Now, Brian makes a lot of money, so what this boot costs in retail isn't that big of a deal to him. He actually sees his boots in a way I think a guy should see his boots, as they are a tool that protects his body, that helps him make a living. And so he knows that he's going to have to replace his boots 3 times a year. So Jonah, you asked me when's a good time to replace your boots? Well, when the heels start to look like that, okay? When you start to pronate the boot, which means, so I'm going to try and shake this thing to where it's naturally, see how it's got that little bend in there? See what's going on there? Now, Brian's a big dude. Brian's weighing in at maybe 250. A little bit lighter. A solid 250. He's not like a chunky 250. I mean, he might be a little soft in the center, but the rest of him is like a brick shithouse. And he wears boots down. And of course, pushing all that weight, doing everything he does, you're going to wear down your soles. So Jonah, when you start to see your soles kind of look like this, when you start to see one side is higher than the other, that's a good time to start thinking about it. Now, there are telltale signs in the body that will let you know that it is time to replace your boots. When your knees start to hurt, when your back starts to hurt. At about the 4-hour mark, the 5-hour mark, if your knees start to feel a little like, and you look at your boots and you're kind of walking on an angle in or out, pronating or whatnot, it's time to replace them. Now, if you're wearing boots so long, and I've seen guys wear this Thorogood for like 4 years, and in my eyes, I don't understand it, but if you're not working in this boot, it will last you a long time. When you're actually working for a living with the boot as a tool, these things will fall apart a little bit quickly, but it's a tool. So is it this model? Hold on 1 second. Let's see. What do we got? One of these is cracked. Okay, so here, he's cracked the welt from flexing and getting it wet. He's gotten this boot wet repeatedly and dried it and gotten it wet again, and it's hard and it's cracked. He never oils his boots because they only last him 3 months. But when you start to see cracks in the welt, then you know it's time. Now, what's silly is I had somebody bring in a pair of boots like this and ask me if I felt they should be resoled. No. Boots that look like this, actual work boots that were worked in, should not be resoled when they get to this state. You've broken down the upper, you've broken down the support. There's really nothing left. You just got to let them die. So Jonah, when your body starts to hurt, when the heels of your boots start to look a little crooked, then you know it's probably a good time to start thinking about it, to start shopping around, either picking up the same model or shopping around for a new model. All right? Jonah, if you got any more questions, please email me. If you want to send me a photo of your boots, please do. So that was question and answers part 5. Hey, if you should have any questions about footwear, about anything that has to do with work boots, please shoot me over an email, see what I got to say. All right? Until the next time, I'm the Boot Guy. Thanks a lot for watching.